Cheap wheels, big updates and more right here, right now. Greetings Rommies and welcome to Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to our regular news roundup, our weekly sim racing news. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@romrom.net. Cody had to lay down and meditate unless he went into a raging fit after seeing this image from rennsport. Supposedly it's a roadmap of their development until full release, but it's so empty of useful information that Cody, who is a fan of sensible infographics, you should see his work, it's excellent. Cody, well, he preferred to meditate rather than go on a rant. Oh, and as rennsport had to postpone the closed beta testing, it's left the realm of reality already, if it ever was there to begin with. Finnish sim racing hardware maker Simocube is starting a test of a 4-day work week after reading of the encouraging results from an experiment in the UK. They will be supported by a thesis worker who will help analyze the data and put it in an overall context, including the employees' subjective experiences. From my personal experience working in the field of software engineering and software development, I expect they are going to keep many of their engineers and maybe acquire some more who will be happy to put a full day's work and more on a working day, if it means their work-life balance will be taken care of too. In what can only be described as non-news, the EA Sports team, previously Codemasters, have released a new car from the 2023 season. Only it's the Alfa Romeo and it's not the 2023 car, just a reskinned 2022 car, and it's only available in time trial. A disappointing event to capitalize on the publicity of the official F1 test in Bahrain this weekend, but each to their own. The new Alfa Romeo does at least look good, with most signs of wide removed in the new season for weight saving and simple sponsors dotted about in the usual places against the naked carbon fiber. But if we had a prize for worst announcement of the week, this would be a surefire winner. The trouble with overhauling your entire game engine and even how your users purchase your content is that all that content also needs to be updated. Such is the lesson Studio 397 is learning, with even more updates this week and the public release of their Race with Unowned content patch. One such content is the stock car 2018X, which has received an update like the GT3 cars previously to their shaders, tires, setups and sound engine, but they have also brought it into line with the stock car 2018. The braking torque and aero package have been updated and a wiper has been added for wet racers. The horsepower at the rear wheels has been adjusted and they have revamped the AI. We've been covering it through the release candidate updates, but photo mode comes to the public release of rFactor 2, a new option to the top right when you're in a lobby with the race view in full screen, where you will be able to move the camera, change focus, saturation, contrast, all those settings passionate photographers love. Of course, we have covered the stages and fixes photo mode has been going through in the release candidate updates, so if you want to know the full story of where it has come from, check the link above, where we have documented the rise of an interesting new feature in the sim amongst other of these rFactor 2 updates now released. For spectators, Studio 397 have also changed how the tracking cameras work in-game. Whereas prior the camera would reset on the new car, making dynamic cameras look unrealistic, they now continue along their movement and transition smoothly to the next car you choose. They have also added a camera hold, so if you want to let the field pass by a certain tracking point, that is now possible, with the ability to let the camera track back to the original car using the smooth transition on release. There is a new function to turn on in your play.json file called Broadcast Group Tracking Mode, another brand new feature that will, on broadcast cameras, focus on multiple cars in a fight, along with settings to adjust the strength and distance the cars need to be to trigger the focus shift. Also, a bugbear of ours with so many sims not treating ultra-wide monitors well with broadcast cameras correctly is persistent custom zoom. Enabled in the play.json file, once again, it allows the broadcaster to change the zoom level to make sure they're capturing all the action rather than just zooming in on the driver through the window like certain other sims. And lastly, in the watching not driving part of this update, rFactor 2 can now load custom cameras from user data cameras. We haven't looked into it thoroughly enough to break this down, but it needs to be enabled once again through the play.json file and the broadcast custom cameras. And finally, as previously announced, the Honda Civic BTCC in its pre- and post-hybrid forms has been added to the stable of available DLCs. Not that you need to buy it if you don't want to anymore. And Long Beach marks a legendary track finally coming to the simulator most known for endurance racing. These have been released as of last Tuesday, the 21st of February. Have you bought the new cars? Will these changes, fixes and adjustments tempt you into rFactor 2? Sound off below. The newer camera settings of rFactor 2 may very well come in handy in a race tonight 2000 CET. After our plans were foiled for the ASRC Indy 500 through rFactor 2 not wanting to start, we're giving it another go today at Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Mile has been a part of IndyCar since 2004 and part of the calendar for most of that time. It's a short oval which brings a different set of challenges than a big oval like Indianapolis and therefore needs a different way of handling car and track. Let's see if the drivers of the ASRC will be able to handle that. We again expect a full roster as ASRC's IndyCar series has become quite popular amongst the members of that community. As always, in between bigger updates, SCS keeps us fans informed about what they're doing. One very interesting nugget is their ambient sounds, which they've collected in the USA and of which they made a small showcase video that is fun to watch, or rather hear. All these sounds and more will come in the 1.47 update of the games, including some new spacing technology they've added to the already existing 5.1 channel technology, so that different sounds will be coming from different distances, no matter where you are. Last week they told us about their visit to Scania. This week they tell us about their visit to the Wilton trailer factory in Poland. This of course means they've been taking measurements of many of the trailers as well as collected other data on top of the data Wilton already and gracefully had handed over to them. Of course, this means Wilton trailers are going to be part of Euro Truck Simulator 2 sometime in the future. When exactly, SCS would not tell. We haven't talked about Snowrunner for a long while as there was nothing special to tell about it. The game has become quite stable, updates are not as revolutionary as they once were, and all in all, it's a fun game that is not so much in development as it is in expansion of the content. In that vein, Season 9 Renew and Rebuild will let you revive Ontario in a firefighting themed season that brings 2 new maps, 2 new vehicles and new activities. In the new maps you'll help get everything running again after wildfires have done their damage. The Albany River will be the only one of the 2 with a garage, which you will have to repair before you can use it, and Burnt Forest will have you restoring warehouses and admiring the beautiful Canadian views, including the waterfall. Of course, you will have to deliver a lot of water to a lot of places. It's no surprise then that one of the trucks you'll be getting for this 9th season will be the Derry Special 15C177, which is specialized in carrying water around, the other truck being the ZIKZ566A, an off-road jack of all trades, so to speak. Both are based on real-life vehicles, by the way, but for license reasons they are called differently and look a bit different. It also has some very specific new cargo like burnt logs and water and others. As Season 9 means the start of the 3rd year, you can now buy a Season's Pass for the 3rd year of Snowrunner. Who would have thought Snowrunner would still be going strong and find so much love 3 years after its release? We loved the game from day one and many of the updates were fantastic. But 3 years for an indie game is a feat that we love to see happening. There's also some special packages if you want to start getting into Snowrunner, a game we still can recommend if you're a patient person with a low level of rage for when the crane lets your truck turn over in the worst possible moment, in the worst possible direction, dropping all the contents into the most difficult place to fish them back. Been there, done that, destroyed the t-shirt, burned the movie, rage quit. I'm better now, slightly. Patrons allow us to ignore any YouTube bullshit and allow us to invest in high-quality sim racing journalism like Sim Racing Expo or buying hard and software without strings attached. Amongst other perks, becoming a patron will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing, so a big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing. We can picture it perfectly in our minds. Imagine a room full of Fanatec people answering this one question. What is the cheapest configuration we can set up to bring people into the Fanatec ecosystem and directly into direct drive that we still can be proud of? The answer is the Direct Drive for Everyone bundle that Fanatec just launched this Friday, with a planned delivery of April 11th. For those who pre-order right away, you can buy a minimal DD configuration very near to the prices entry-level servo systems like T300 or G29 offer. Those of us in the know will notice how very much entry-level everything in this bundle is, but for a price of €500 USD, you really can get a first taste of direct drive and will never look back again. For much less than one SimuCube pedal costs, you get the most basic of DD configurations: a CSL DD 5Nm base with QR1, the CSL steering wheel P1 V2, not my favorite, but who's asking me, and the CSL pedals without clutch are all included in this bundle, which we expect many to find very interesting. As we said, it's the most basic of configurations, and while you can upgrade the pedals with a load cell kit and the base up to 8 Nm, it will still be quite entry level. On the other hand, this is a war cry against the Logitech and Thrustmaster DD systems, which both cost more than this, and it's especially a war cry against all cheap Chinese systems flooding the market with design they copied from who knows whom. It's really the cheapest configuration at the cheapest price they could put together, but if you're thinking about starting sim racing in earnest and can afford the €200 USD more, going Fanatec DD will always be better than going Thrustmaster or Logitech Servo, for sure. Once again, Fanatec impresses with the will to cut the right corners to try to conquer or at least occupy all slots in the market of sim racing hardware. Clever move by them. An even clever move by you would be to check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.